Bytedance has officially joined the game of AI coding IDEs. And for those of you who don't know what Bytedance is the company behind TikTok. And I know there will be some of you in the comments and be like, there's no way that I'm going to use this because I don't want to give my data to the Chinese people. Yeah, okay, whatever. I don't care. I just want to test as many AI coding tools as possible to see which one is the best. So let's have a quick look at Trae, and it says ship faster with Trae. You can actually download it, and I've already done this, and we'll walk through the setup process together in just a bit, but let's just have a look at all of the features. So you and Trae, it's actually a development partner, seamlessly balancing human and AI capabilities. This dynamic collaboration ensures each task is handled by the most suitable agent, maximizing your productivity. And essentially, we have a few different features. We have chat, we have multimodality, which means we can upload images and documents and so on. And we also, well, can just pass different context to the coding IDE, right? There's also the autocomplete feature. And if we scroll down a bit more, no, it's not here. Actually, it's in the docs. So let's quickly switch over to the documentation. Again, I will just brush over this quickly and then we'll have a look at Trae. So the feature that I want to show you is the builder feature. And this is essentially similar to Windsurf's Cascade or Cursor's Composer, right? It says the builder mode can help you develop a complete project from scratch. You can seamlessly integrate into your project development process. In the builder mode, the AI assistant utilizes various tools based on your needs when responding. These tools include those for analyzing code files, editing code files, running commands, and more, making the responses more precise and effective. And well, it essentially walks you through how to enable the builder mode. It says Command plus U at the top left of the AI chat box. Click Builder to enable the builder mode. It's currently in beta, and Trae is, as of now, because it's in beta mode, and I think this started at the 20th of January, so around 3 days ago, it's free. And you can use, if you've seen this, look at this. Let me zoom in a bit. It uses Claude 3.5 Sonnet under the hood. So we're going to have a lot of fun with it. So let's switch over to Trae and I'll walk you through the setup process. So let's see how this feels like. So we'll click get started, choose the dark mode. Yes, we want to go with English and not with Chinese. Yeah, why not? Let's import from VS Code, and you can even import from Cursor, which is neat. A little bit of a curveball here. So add the comment, start using the comment Trae in terminal. Yes, let's do this. And what this will do, it's essentially just adds a environment variable to my system so that I can start Trae from the terminal, right? So to enhance your experience, please log in to access the AI features. Okay, probably have to create a new account. I will do this quickly off camera and then I'll be back. It's authenticating, and now we're inside of the IDE. So let me make this a bit bigger. Let's give it a few more seconds so that it can load all of the VS Code settings. We don't want to log into Amazon Q. Nope, nope. Okay, so as you can see here on the right, we have the chat, we have the builder, and right from the beginning, I mean, this kind of looks pretty Cursor-esque or VS Code-esque, if that's even a word. And I guess this is also a fork of VS Code. I mean, this is the reason why we were able to import the VS Code settings, right? You know what? Let's do the following. We'll do two things. So first, I want to choose this pre-made prompt here, provided by Trae. And the next thing is that I also want to test it on a personal project to see how it will perform. So for now, we'll just do open folder. So let's have a quick look at the sidebar. We have basically all of the VS Code features: extension store, remote explorer, Amazon Q, black box. Okay, those are my installed extensions. I would say we'll dive right in. Unfortunately, the quick access buttons are gone, but I will just go with create a snake game because this was one of the buttons that was displayed in the beginning, right? So create a snake game, but we'll do it with a little twist with, let's do Next.js. Maybe it's a little bit of an overkill, but we'll see how Trae will handle this. Create a snake game with Next.js 15. So actually it works kind of similar like Windsurf or Cursor, right? Where it tells you what it will do. And let's see how this works. We can run commands, so it will create a new next app with TypeScript, Tailwind, ESLint with the source directory. It will use npm and it will say yes to all of the different settings. So let's do this. I guess you can also choose different models. No, you can only choose Claude 3.5 Sonnet as of now. I see. We'll have a look at the settings in just a bit, but I want to see the quality of the code as quickly as possible to show it to you guys. So let's see. Let's examine the project structure and files to understand what we need to modify for implementing the snake game. Then it has a look at the source folder, the page, and also the layout. Let's create the main game component that will handle the snake game logic. And actually it's a bit different than Cursor or Windsurf, right? Because you can't see what it actually does. You only have this loading indicator, and you also can't click on the buttons here. So it's just okay, I don't know what this says. Well, we probably will be able to click on the review button, but this will only show us the code inside of the main window here, I guess. So let's wait a few more seconds until it's done, and then we'll have a look at the application. We have a headline. We add the snake game component. Okay, so this is an error because it has deleted the import statement at the top, but it still has the image component inside of the code. So for now, let's do accept all. And this is not a big deal. We will fix this manually. So let's do import like so. So this fixed the error. And now let's do npm run dev. Okay. We get an error because it says, okay, it actually tried to run npm run dev from the wrong directory. And now it should work. Great. Let's access the local host and see how it looks like. Okay, so if we have a look at localhost, you can see that we get an error which says SSR, server-side rendering, false, is not allowed with next dynamic and server components. Please move it into a client component. So not a big deal. We'll see if Trae is able to fix this. So we'll copy that and we'll paste it like so. We'll say, okay, yeah, I've tried to run the application and to use it, but as you can see, I get this error. Could you please use chain of thought reasoning to explain where the error comes from exactly, and then propose a plan to fix it and walk me through it step by step. The error occurs because in Next.js 13 Plus with App Router, the default page.tsx is a server component, but we're using Next Dynamic with SSR false directly in it, which isn't allowed in server components. This is happening because server components are rendered on the server and can't handle client-side only features. Okay, so here's the explanation and solution. The error is in page where we are using dynamic import. To fix this, we need to create a separate client component wrapper that will handle the dynamic import, create a new file, move the dynamic import logic there, and make it with use client. Please resolve this issue with your solution. Okay, we get something. It says game over. We will check in a bit if I can actually move the snake because, well, I wasn't able to do it just now. Okay, we'll do accept all. And now let's do play again. Okay, look at this, guys. It works. This is awesome. Okay, I killed myself. Let's see if the game mechanic actually works. The food is added as a part of the tail, and it actually works, which is nice. The design is a bit off, right? You can see that we have the deploy now button and learning examples. So this isn't really something that we've asked for, but other than that, it works. So let me kill the snake. Let's head back over to Trae and actually fix those, I don't know, bullet points here. We don't really need them. Okay, we also don't need, actually we don't need all of this here. We only need the snake game, right? Okay, and let's have a look at the code. There's really nothing fancy. I mean, it's not a really complicated game. As you can see here, it uses the use effect hook to kind of detects if we're pressing a specific key, the down, up, right, left key. We have set the grid size to 20 by 20, and we actually use this to generate the food each time we eat something, and we also check for collision. Okay, yeah, well, fair enough. This was pretty decent. Only 2 prompts and we were able to make it work. Now let's have a look at the settings, shall we? So if we click on the account button, you can see that we can change the theme, we can change the language. If we click on settings, what do we get actually? Again, we can import the configuration, Trae AI, chat language, specify the language that Trae responds, English or Chinese. Okay, basically the settings kind of look like Cursor. It also says code index management, and as for the account settings. Okay, so apparently you don't get as much features as with Cursor, right? Because this is a new app. They just released it 3 days ago on the 20th of January. January. So actually, I don't think that you're able to set the rules for AI, for example. You probably also won't be able to add a cursor rules, or I should say Trae rules file. So you kind of have to work with the bare bone version of it, if that makes sense. So we can have a look at the documentations and let's see, does it say anything about rules? No. Okay. So again, this will probably be added in the next few days or weeks as the application grows, but I think it's pretty awesome that you can use it for free. So, and I actually want to do one more test run. So let me quickly grab another prompt and then we'll see how Trae will handle this. I actually gave this quite a lot of thought what I wanted to build because, well, I don't want to make it too complicated. Okay, this video shouldn't be another like 3-hour video of me trying to get AI coding tools to work. I want to make it a streamlined process, and this is why I'm going to attempt to clone the following application. So as you can see here, this is the boilerplate that I've built. And let me quickly show you the original app. For those of you who don't know coolors, definitely check out this page. It's a great website to create color palettes, but also get some inspiration for some of your project. And they have a tool, as you can see, which is called Image Picker, where the user can upload an image from his computer or by providing a URL. And then he can basically pick different color palettes from the image, can increase the amount of colors he wants to extract, and he can export the palette as a URL, which will then lead to another page, as you can see here, and export the palette as CSS, for example, or as a simple PDF. And I know this is quite a lot of functionality, and I don't know if I will be able to clone everything. And to keep it simple, I also won't add a database connection or authentication, right? Because, well, this just complicates things unnecessarily. If you want me to create a video where I use Trae to build a full stack application, leave a comment down below and I will happily add it to my content calendar. But for now, let's head over to Trae. As you can see, I've already set up a basic Next.js 15 project. I also created basic documentation, so I won't go into too much detail, but I will use this in an initial prompt in the chat feature or chat window to see if Trae can actually go ahead and, well, plan the project for us, because Cursor is actually quite good at planning the project if you give it enough context, right? So I want to see if Trae comes close or maybe even works on a similar level. For that, we're going to use the following prompt. Please have a look at documentation. And by the way how you add files or folders to context is by using the hashtag, not the @ like in Cursor or Windsurf, hashtag. And then you want to either write file or folder, colon, and then you can link the folder or file, as I've said. So please have a look at documentation to get an initial understanding of the application. Create an implementation plan that combines the findings from your analysis. Use chain of thought reasoning to create a plan so we can create modularized and optimized code. Additional information: we don't need a database integration or user authentication, just client-side state management with Zustand. For front-end components, I want you to use frame of motion, so maybe we delete that for now. Shadcn to create a high-quality and visually appealing UI that looks similar to, and we want to link the screenshot. Please also keep in mind that I've already created the basic layout in, and we want to link the page here. So file page, and you can use it to add the new components you're going to create. We only need the plan for now, no need to write code. Used 14 references. I'll analyze the documentation and create a comprehensive implementation plan. Let's break this down step by step. From the documentation, we can see that this is a client-side application for extracting color palettes from images with the following key features: image upload and display, interactive color picking with draggable markers, color palette management, export capabilities. Front end is Next.js 15 with app router. We use Zustand. which is not already implemented. This is not correct, right? We kind of have to guide it there a little bit. ShadCN replacing Tailwind and Headless UI from original spec. Image processing with Canvas API, and the additional libraries that we need is React Draggable, ColorJS, JS PDF, and LZ String. This is the component structure. And as for the implementation phases, we start with the core image handling, create image upload component using ShadCN's upload and drop zone, implement image display with Canvas integration, add basic markup position in the system, integrate with existing Zustand store. Okay, so what I want to do is copy all of that and paste it inside of this file, save it. Then I want to switch to the builder and I want to ask Trae to start writing the code, and we want to link this here, state management.md, save it. Please have a look at Trae implementation and start with implementing the first phase, which is core image handling. Now the document will say that we've already implemented the Zustand store. This is not correct. You can find a boilerplate for this project in state management. However, if you think we should add anything or we do too much in the store definition, please explain before you start writing the code. If you think this is correct and actually a good starting point, you can just start to write the code and walk me through it step by step so that I can test the feature from phase 1. Keep in mind the UI has to look like app.png. And many people say don't let the AI decide what you want to do, but to be honest, sometimes I do this in Cursor for simple tasks like this, and it actually works quite well. So this is why I want to know how Trae will handle this in builder mode. So we'll hit enter and then we'll see what it comes up with. Okay, it says appears well structured, the store implementation, and provides all necessary state and actions for image handling and color markers. Let's proceed with implementing the core components following the modern design shown in app.png. Okay, and we create the image upload component, and all of the other stuff should be finished any second. And as you can see, this works a bit different from Cursor, right? If you're in Cursor Composer, you can actually see the code being written. Here in Builder, you can only see that loading indicator, and you can then view the code in the main window in the file, as you can see here. Let's have a look at the generation process. It says, let's first check the project structure to see what components we already have. It scanned the folder. It then realized, okay, we don't have any components. It went ahead and created the image upload and image display component, and then it went ahead and created the store. For some reason, it keeps failing with adding all of the components to the main page for whatever reason. So let's wait a few more seconds to see if Trae can make it work. It keeps failing for whatever reason. So, but that shouldn't be a big deal. Ah, okay, now it worked. Okay, great. Okay, we get an error. What is the error? The result of get snapshot should be cached to avoid an infinite loop. We copy all of that. I tried to test the feature, but I get this error. So could you please go ahead and fix it and walk me through it step by step? The problem occurs because we're creating a new object in the selector function on every render. To fix this, we need to modify the state selection in image display to use primitive selectors or memoize the selector function. Okay, let's fix the infinite loop issue. Okay, so this actually looks decent, but we only see the image and not the color picker. Okay, now let's have a look at the implementation plan. Okay, so this worked. I can see the image. So could we please proceed with the next steps according to, and we want to link Trae implementation once more, and we just want to hit enter. So usually if you do it like this, Cursor kind of can read through the lines, right? And understand what it needs to do. And we'll see if Trae is able to do similar things or maybe even come close to it. Okay, so for some reason, there seems to be an issue with accessing the files. So maybe I have to start a new Composer window. Okay, so we get another error. React.jsx type is invalid. Expect a string or a class function, but got undefined. Okay. So we'll do, please proceed. And here's a quick explanation for the workflow. The user uploads the image is displayed in the canvas, and after the upload, 5 color pickers are added automatically to the image, aka to the canvas, and the resulting color palette is then displayed in the UI on the left next to the image. Let's see if the result of this is a bit better than when I would add the context to the builder. I'll help you implement the color picker workflow. The implementation will enhance the current image display component to automatically place 5 color pickers on the canvas after image upload sample colors at those positions and display the resulting color palette in a new component next to the image. And meanwhile, this is writing. Okay, so let me show you something. It says, after reviewing the image display component, I found that it already has all the required functionality implemented. The component uses a canvas to display the uploaded image. It automatically initializes 5 default color picker markers when an image is loaded. The markers are draggable and update their positions using percentages for consistency. But, well, the only thing that we get is this error, right? The implementation matches all the requirements in the workflow description, so no additional changes are needed. Okay, so could you then please go ahead and explain why I don't see any of that, but I get the following error? Please use chain of thought reasoning and fix the error and walk me through it step by step. So let me quickly change the camera angle. So to be honest, it feels like cursor 1 point, no, not 1 point. It feels like cursor 0.0.1. I haven't used cursor from the start. When did I start dabbling with it? I think it was around September last year, something like that. So I feel like this model here, the Cloud 3.5 Sonnet model in Builder, is kind of like in its infancy when it comes to actually creating files in the code. It's not as smooth sailing as you would expect it to be, right? So we get error after error. It says use store is not a function. Okay, fix the input error, changing image display. Let's do accept and let's copy that one more time. I wonder if Cursor would be able to resolve this. Maybe I will drag this over to Cursor and ask Cursor to resolve the issue. But let's first try it one more time. Okay, yet another error. So I was actually able to make it work. I mean, it doesn't work like it should, but it kind of works. So as you can see, we can drag around the color picker and the color is changing. It's not always correct. So if you can see here, the color is pink, but if I drag it like here, it's blue. So it doesn't work completely. I can add a new color picker, but it's always added in the same position. And if we compare this to the actual app, if I add another one, you can see that it gets added in different positions, right? The same is true if I refresh this, everything is at 000, and if I grab it, it is all over the place, as you can see, but I can delete and add color pickers. So if we switch back over here, you can see that it actually took me quite a while. I won't walk you through the whole thing, but just so you know, this is everything that I had to do in order to make it work. And as you can see, it was quite a lot. So I guess here's a quick and honest review of the application. I tried to give you a little bit of an, not in-depth review, but in terms of the UI, it's actually quite good, right? I like the design. We have a look at it. I like the design. It feels smooth and seamless. It looks good. But as far as the builder goes, you can really feel that it's a beta version because, well, it's not as forgiving as Cursor, I should say. In Cursor, you can write a prompt and it doesn't have to be as exact, right? So, for example, here is, if you have a look at the screenshot, you can see that if we add the marker, we always get the same color. That is not correct. Also, the markers appear outside of the image. If we have a vertical image, this is also not correct. Could you please fix all of the issues? First, please tell me where they occur and then fix them. Walk me through it step by step. So, and usually if I would do this with Cursor would go ahead and show me the different files and the source code, and it would explain step by step what exactly the error is. And well, Trae kind of does this too, but not as exact and detailed as Cursor. And if we have a look at the other prompt, so you can see this is a quite long prompt that I gave it, right? And I even told it, before you start writing any code, explain in your own words what I just told you and then wait for my confirmation. And this usually works pretty well in Cursor, even when I've enabled the agent or composer mode. But Trae would just tell me something, yeah, okay, this is the issue, and this and this and this and this, and it would immediately jump into writing the code. And so it felt like I have little control over what is actually happening. And if we have a look at the code, it also looks kind of all over the place, right? Because as you can see, we're doing some calculations inside of the color maker, which should just be a component where we display things, but it added everything in one file. The same is true for the image. As you can see, the image display, we're making a bunch of calculations inside of here to create the canvas and everything. Although I told it specifically to create helper functions and to modularize the code. And this is something Cursor would do pretty well, right? You would tell it to follow certain guidelines, or even, I mean, not just with the Cursor rules, but tell it in chat or in composer mode that you want modularized modularized code that you want to have the code split up in different files, and it would just do it, right? So this kind of feels like, as I've said, Cursor 1.0 or 0.0 or whatever you want to call it. And well, I mean, I guess that's kind of the caveat that comes with it, right? It's free, but there still needs to happen a lot of stuff behind the scenes so that it's actually usable for real applications. And I tried different things. I tried just describing it. As you can see, I tried adding the files to the prompts, and this wouldn't work. And well, at some point it just felt like as I was like just spinning in circles, and I wouldn't make any real progress. This is why I decided to call it a day. I will definitely keep working with Trae from time to time to see if there are any improvements, and if that is the case, I will definitely make an update to this video. But I mean, it's nice to kind of get started with all of this AI coding stuff, and if you're only focused on keeping the cost as low as possible, but if you want to be fast and create something quickly, in my opinion, you should better work with Cursor or Windsurf. Okay, thanks for your attention. This video has gotten way longer than I intended it to be, but hopefully you gained a little bit of value from it, and I see you in the next one.